begin by saying good morning, good day, namaste, and kemcho. The host and Bhargo Bhai have given us an introduction to this talk. Now, what I want to talk about is some of the aspects around AI. We're not going to get through it all, and it's a big topic. Now, it will create jobs. It will change jobs. It'll take jobs away. It is going to bring whole-scale changes to societies. The issue is how we manage it. We're already seeing requests for regulatory. We're already seeing regulatory problems. We're already seeing crimes from scammers and hoaxes and those sort of things. It's going to impact nearly every area of society, and it's an activity that will need to be managed. There'll be a copy of the slides available at the end and a copy of the recording. So don't worry about looking at the slides too much. What I want this session to be is we'll paint a high-level picture, ask questions, let's discuss local scenarios and local impacts and issues. Now, I'm going to start by covering off some of the myths and some of the realities. We're going to spend the bulk of our time looking at examples and how to get them implemented. We're going to look at what's emerging, some of the considerations. If we get time, we'll talk to the technologists a little bit, and then we'll wrap up. Again, ask questions. We'll ask you for relevant local examples. What I suggest is you raise your hand. Bhargo, if you could monitor the hands in the chat and call it out. And I'm also going to throw across to Bhargo at times, and hopefully other people in the room, to get drawn into the conversation. So let's get into it. This is a picture of Manly Beach. When Bhargo Bhai was here, we were going to get on a ferry and go surfing. It didn't quite happen. Let's talk about some of the myths and realities around AI. AI is already in our lives. If we go and see a fireworks display and a drone show with the drones flying around with pretty lights, those drones have been programmed overall, and then they're using AI to manage the flight patterns, the images, and that sort of thing. Now, Anchor, you've got your finger up on the screen. Are you seeking to ask a question? Is it Anchor?
No.
His thumb is over, his index finger has been raised. That's right. Sorry, mate. So AI is here. It's already impacting. Now, if you do entertainment shows and fireworks and that sort of thing, you would already be researching the use of drones and how to integrate them into your shows. Okay. We already know that drones are being used on the battlefield and in conflicts. We know that the big American drones, they're programmed, they have pilots on the ground, they use AI. We know that they're being used in the war in Ukraine. Some of the doomsday scenarios around it are not yet and are a long way off. Now, we've seen robots which use AI in various aspects of our lives, from the sort of strange looking dogs that now walk around the airport in Singapore as part of the security. We've seen them in the workplace. We've seen the receptionist and those sort of things. Again, they're all using AI now. Now, we've all seen the Hollywood view of where AI is going, things like the battle droids and that sort of thing. The reality is that that is a long way off. The AI that exists today, as sophisticated as it is and as advanced that it is very primitive. It is mainly searching masses of data for prediction of patterns, having sentient beings making decisions, going off and deciding who to kill, post-apocalyptic scenes from Terminator. That's a long way off. However, if we don't take measures now and actions now to manage the process, we could end up in these types of scenarios, which is why people are already seeking for regulatory aspects of AI to be brought in. Now, a nice picture of Sydney Harbour Bridge. This is where we're going to spend the bulk of this session. We want to talk about what's happening now with AI and its applications to business. And then this is where we'd like to draw you into the discussion and work through some more of these aspects, right? This is a simple slide that says AI is going to impact all these areas. There are many, many more areas to address, but let's work through some of them. AI is going to have an impact in finance and banking, and we're going to talk to that a little bit later in the slides. It's going to impact lawyers. We already had the example of the lawyer using ChatGPT to possibly win a court case. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Now, is there anybody in the room that does manufacturing?
Yep, manufacturing करतो कोई व्यक्ति हो तो he wants to talk to the person.
Yep.
Yes.
So the person.
Yes, I am.
So have you already started to explore the uses of AI within your manufacturing capacities and capabilities?
તમે તમારા મેન્યુફેક્ચરિંગમાં AI વાપરો છો એવું એમનો ક્વેશ્ચન છે કિતનો કે are we using AI for your manufacturing process? Yes કે no જે પણ હોય. I think it is mostly no, Kit.
Yeah,
no, as of now.
Yes.
Not yet.
That's okay. It's early days. So if let's say you make routine products that are manufactured on an assembly line, you can use X-ray imaging, photography, and those sorts of things with quality assurance. You can build up the library of quality assured images of what is a good product and what is a bad product. You can then feed in your images of what's going down the assembly line in real time, have it processed, and have it start to identify products that are defective. It's early days. You still need other manual quality test checking and that sort of thing. But this is an area that's coming within manufacturing. And if you look at websites that sell cars, boats, that sort of thing, they get you to take pictures of the boat from all the different angles, and then they feed it through the AI to make sure that it's classified correctly and that the boat is in good conditions. And that impacts the pricing that gets put up on the boat sales side. Does anybody want to comment on that before we explore another example?
Yeah, I have a question.
Please.
See, what you mentioned as AI being able to do, it's already been done by automation as it is. So how is AI going to add to it? Like, I mean, we know that automation is already doing a lot of these quality checks and things like that. So how is AI going to add another dimension to it?
So what happens is the check process happens in multiple stages, yeah? One of the options and approaches being used, as we talked about, is imaging. To take the images, classify the images, have the AI search through the images to say, This is a high quality product. It should look like this. This is a product that's being damaged. It looks like this. Let's call this out and instigate a manual check. Now you're raising a key issue here. It's going to take time to get these things done. It's going to work alongside a lot of existing processes at the moment, and only further down the track will some of the other quality assurance processes drop off. But definitely in the near term and the midterm, the importance of manual checking, the importance of existing quality control processes will still apply, because quality control applies in different ways at multiple levels, and you try not to have the points of failure aligning.
All right, thank you.
Beautiful. Good. Please ask questions. Now, one of the ones I want to talk about quickly is scammers. If you run a service desk with AI, people are going to be able to automate the scamming, hit up the service desk, consume more time and more resources. The service desk will be slowly introducing AI to try and weed out the scammers so that their service desk performance remains high and that their customers are protected. Now, how this quite pans out in each industry, offline conversation, but that's another area where it'll come through. We'll talk about social media a little bit shortly. Let's talk about medical scans. We already know that AI software trawls through hundreds of brain scan images, looking for what is a healthy brain, where cancers come in, and it helps doctors in the diagnosis. At this stage, the AI helps detect. You still need the doctors in there to manage the patients. We still need the doctors in there to bring expertise that's not there in the AI and all those sort of things. So in the short term, there's going to be some replacement of roles, but it's mainly going to be enhance cost savings and make them more productive. If you follow the media, the actors in the US and the script writers are on strike about pay and conditions, and one of the ones is AI. Now, when AI can totally write a story from end to end with all the emotional bond and that sort of thing, that's much further down the track. Right now, it's going to help with some of the short-term routine operations. Let me just pick a few more. Does anybody run an engineering company and construction companies?
Yeah, I also have a real estate company.
Yeah. So engineering companies are already using AI to help in the design of drainage, to help design culverts, to help in the estimating of concrete, extraction times, digging times, that sort of thing. So again, it's not replacing people, it's helping them do their job more efficiently, and it's changing their job. So if you're a engineering and construction company, yes, you have the AutoCAD, but you would also be looking at AI and as an example. Before we go on to a couple more comments and I throw to Bhargav, does anybody want to come into the conversation?
Yeah, we are at a very, just to inform everyone on similar lines, pardon me for my sore throat, we are already working on to develop an AI-based design tool, which will design from end to end, from concept to the drawing stage with the BOQ and everything. And that's going to reduce the timeline a lot. So AI can probably replace even design consultants or engineers to some extent there.
I agree with that, but also it will change their role in that they will spend more time managing stakeholders. They'll spend more time on assurance and quality assurance and that sort of thing, and less time on the day-to-day routine engineering. It's going to become more sophisticated as we go forward, but let's stick to the short term. Now, India had an interesting arrangement and conversation with its farmers in the middle of last year around the pricing and the sale of agricultural products. That is an example of societal change. Whilst that one was not related to AI, it is just an example of some of the challenges we will face with AI. So, the world's second biggest exporter of food is Holland, after the US, and I note exporter. Holland has these massive factory warehouses where they grow food. And what happens is it's all in these factories, it's all layered, it's all hydroponics. They have robots that go along that plant. They have robots that go along the next day, see if the plant is okay, give it nitrogen or more food or fertilizers, that sort of thing. They then keep going until it's harvested, it's packed, and it's shipped. Now, AI and data analytics is a massive component of these food operations. To meet the growing demand of people for food around the world, agriculture is becoming much more industrialized and much more intensive. So the massive combines harvesting wheat in the US, self-driven, that's all AI. Let me pause there and throw across to people in the room. Bhargav, can I start with you? Do you have any sort of local examples you'd like to bring in?
Yeah, starting from very much simple thing like my friend Shashi Vispute, who is a manufacturer of water heater, and both of us are BNI member. So Shashi was wondering, Bhargav, whether AI can write a 30-second presentation for me to present tomorrow in the meeting. I said, yeah, why not? So I just passed some input to ChatGPT, and immediately it came up with amazing 30-second introduction. Same is the case with my friend Ankur Agrawal sitting here in the room. So same was the case just day before yesterday. I was visiting him at his real estate development site, and that's what we did. And it was really amazing result.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It was really amazing. Yes.
Yeah. So Bhargav will do an illustration with ChatGPT in about 2 or 3 minutes time. It's great you mentioned real estate because there's a lot of contractual work with real estate. Often terms and conditions can be conflicting. The dates of when things due can overlap, when they expire, that sort of thing. There's software right now out there for managing the reviews of contracts, creating standard terms and conditions within contracts. Of course, you need manual checking, and of course, it's becoming more nuanced, but it's out there now. Let me move on, and we can come back to the discussion. In a nutshell, there are 7 types of AI that I sort of listed on this screen. Most of the AI that we currently do is about searching through large data sets, learning, and having algorithms make forecasts based on that. That's an important theme that we're going to come back to. So I'm going to pick robotics. That's a big area of growth, big area of opportunity. One of the ones I'm going to do is computer vision. China leads the world in facial recognition software. Now, partly it's its government and regulatory regime is conducive to that. China integrates the facial recognition into whether you've paid for your dog license, whether you've kept your rent up, you're now a good citizen, you can travel. Now, I'm not advocating the merits of that either way, but that's an example of where the different kinds of AI are heading. Now, some quick example apps. You've probably heard of ChatGPT and the Microsoft equivalents. If you watch movies on Netflix, Netflix is very, very intensive on searching your data, taking it through algorithms and predicting what you want to watch. There's a one for students doing their homework called Socratic. And if you're in universities now, you worry about plagiarism, who's copying, are you actually presenting homework that you've done, or have you used AI to do it? Now, Vargo, I'm going to pause this presentation here and throw across to you to do a couple of ChatGPT examples, and then we'll come back and keep going through the slides. So if I stop the share and throw to you, are you good to pick it up?
Yes, good morning again. So before I start myself, I could see some hands raised to share certain their views. I think Agreya was there and few more were there. So if still they are there to share their views, Manish Nayak was there. Manish bhai, are you still there?
I can share if
Please.
no.
Yeah.
So my question was about when you said earlier about manufacturing, how AI can help scan products and images for quality assurance. I just wanted to know what that technology is called or what some softwares are. You're muted. Keith.
Yeah, can we take that conversation offline around the products, and we'll talk through that one a little bit more offline if you don't mind.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
And I'll make a note of that one as well.
Yes, anyone else?
Can I just share? I don't know the product, but in response to what Agreya Gandhi asked, there are already quality assurance products in India where, like, we are in the tea business, we produce tea, we are in the tea plantation, and we need to know every tea leaf, what is the quality, like if it is big, if it is small, if it is medium, if it is greenish, it has more moisture, less moisture. All these things are done by visual camera identification, and then AI doing the work of finding out whether the tea leaf is a good quality or not, or it is whatever sorting has to be done, it is done using AI. But I don't know which software is used, but this is already in use in India.
Yeah, that's a really good point. We're talking about things.
Yeah.
Sorry. We're talking about
Yeah. Otherwise, you have to do this manually, which is a very, very tedious job. Yeah. Please go ahead.
It's a really good point that a lot of these things are starting to come in now. It's a matter of how they get deployed and how they get scaled up. If you look at meat processing, that's an area, again, where these sorts of things are ramping up. And the tracking of food, whether it's your yogurt or whatever it is, basically from source to plate, with all of the integrated technologies, the shipping logistics, the AI, that's all coming along now at different speeds. But I've got a note to follow up on the imaging software. And Chetan, thank you for that. Now, was there any more questions before we throw back to Vargo?
Okay.
Yes, good morning, Bhargav. Yeah. So and all. So you asked about how we use AI.
So we use it mainly for the generation of the new data, which is not existing over there. So that's the main power of AI. So that's the difference between the Google and AI. That Google will compile all the existing data, whereas AI will also help to generate the new data. So for our business, wherever we need such kind of details, we use AI, and especially when it is in the field of multiple disciplines and the disciplines in which we don't have much knowledge. So we use mainly the power of ChatGPT for that, and our experience has been very good. So working with a small team, it gives us a leverage to work like a large team with AI in the background as our guide, tutor, and assistant. Thank you.
Yep. Again, that's a very good point. It's the access to the data, the management of the data, and those sort of things that underpin it. It's the data that's coming down the pipeline. All of these are aspects of the application and use of AI that has to be managed, which is the theme of the session. Bhargav, if there's no more questions, let's throw back to you and let's do the worked example, please.
Yeah. Okay. So let me share my screen. Okay. So now you see this is ChatGPT. So many have questioned that whether it is just app. No, you can even use it through your computer browser or mobile browser as well. So this is the screen using which one can log in. I have already logged in, so I'm not spending more time on it and showing you a real world example where I'm trying to message to show me that I'm asking to see that write a 30-second presentation, again the same example, write a 30-second presentation for Shashi Vispute representing Opal Industries, manufacturer of water heater giving Thandi mein garmi ki ehsaas. And mention how it is of much help to Jigal and his girlfriend Jaya. So just click on go and you will see it processing it further. You can see that. So how quick it was. Still, it is not all. You can retry it again. You can just click on regenerate response. You can copy paste. So you can just read. Imagine this, Jigal and his girlfriend Jaya embracing the beauty of cold winter evening. But wait, it's freezing outside. Enter Opal Industries water heater, their ultimate savior. With just a flick of a switch, Jigal and Jaya experience instant warmth, transforming their cozy moments into unforgettable memories, right? So leave it on AI, how to draft it, how to make it more beautiful. So that's all for now.
Can I just share my experience,
Yeah,
which could be practically useful to all of us present here.
Yeah.
Now, with all due respect to doctors and the medical fraternity, we get our medical reports, which are very difficult for us to understand, most of us who are not medical professionals. You simply put that medical report in ChatGPT and just write, explain to me as if I was a 5-year-old kid, or explain to me as if I was a 20-year-old person, or explain to me as if I was a 40-year-old person. And you will get a brief, which is very, very easy for you to understand without going to doctor to ask him all those questions, for which he sometimes is very busy, he does not have time, but here it will explain you everything in detail. All those complicated terminologies will become very simple. Yeah.
Excellent.
Back to you.
Yeah. So again, these are some other great examples. There was the chief data scientist for the New South Wales state government used ChatGPT, and he put in something like talk, data quality, chief data scientist, New South Wales government, and ChatGPT put something together. He went through and goes, that's not me, that's not me, that's not me, that's not me, that's not me. His wife went through and said, oh, that's you, that's you, that's you, that's you, that's you. So again, we can use these things, but it's for a long time yet, we're still going to need the manual human intervention around it, the making sure of the quality and those sort of things. And these highly automated knowledge worker services are still quite a ways off. So can you all see my screen again? Right.
Yes.
So there's some routine things like marketing content, covering letters, presenting search results, reports and analytics that you can use systems for today to help out in the business. Forget getting people skilled up, awareness, policies and processes around it. We'll come to that. There's going to be a lot of supporting services that will make use of AI. Government service is going to be one, licensing, regulatory, document management and workflow, contracts, those sort of things. Now, one of the themes that is going to come out of this is there's going to be a lot of industry-specific AI created. So if you're in legal, there's going to be a whole set of legal AI-specific software coming down the line. Agriculture, transport, you list your industry sectors, it's coming. These are the business opportunities for companies to not only design and create the software, sell it to the world, consulting services on transformation of business around it. Now, one of the key themes around this use of AI is going to be our risk management. Now, we've already heard stories of software houses putting code into ChatGPT to see if it's going to write the code for them. Yeah. Now, we should not be putting client information, confidential information, personal information into public systems. Now, some people will stand up their own versions of ChatGPT and that sort of thing. But as a rule of thumb, when you're managing this, if it's client confidential, personal, that sort of thing, you shouldn't be putting it into public systems, right or wrong. We will still need the manual checking processes for a while. And we will need awareness, skilling, and training around the use of the software, what we can do and what we can't do. So if you're a large bank and you're familiar with the 3-line model of audit, back office operations and front operations and assurance across it, and you do that for financial crime, you will also be adopting that kind of model around AI and assurance of AI. We will need controls in place to make sure people are not abusing my information inside AI in the Department of Transport. Okay, ask any questions if you like, and we'll keep moving through. We want to try and do a quick look at some of the societal and economic returns. Now, I'm not going to go through this diagram in big detail, but I want you to look at these green boxes here. The routine knowledge worker services like tax, audit, legal, compliance, they're slowly getting automated around AI. Banks already do mortgage approvals using AI. Banks have already incurred fines for the improper use of the AI and the approvals process. Now, if you're a 20-year-old now going into tax, there's 3 sort of broad career paths coming out in front of you. One is the high-end specialist advisory on tax. That's pretty much going to maintain and remain a labor-intensive specialist process. A lot of the routine tax processing is going to get automated. So there's going to be big changes in that space there. So if you're EY, revenue models are going to change, that sort of thing. Even the small accountant servicing a local town, there's going to be changes coming in there. and there's going to be getting people to move to these automated services. Now, there's obviously a lot of career paths in between, and it's more nuanced, but this is the kind of thing that is coming down the pipeline. Now, AI is going to help manage and drive the core technologies that we use. It's going to provide a lot of the support services that we consume, and it's going to change them. The copy of the slides will be made available after the talk, so you can go through the diagrams in detail. Now, this slide just talks a little bit more about some of the changes that we've talked about. Now, what I want to talk about is financial crime. Is there anybody in financial service here? Anybody in banking in here? Okay. I'm going to pick sanctions. If you're an Australian bank or you're a global bank, you quite often have sanctions monitoring outsourced to India. And there are people who go through the transactions and look for keywords like Cuba, because Cuba is a sanctioned country from Australia. That transaction gets identified and more work gets done. Already, that search is being automated. Indian companies are starting to write software for global banks to make this detection more nuanced. Now, just because you've detected Cuba, it doesn't mean that it's an issue, because this could be Cuba Street in Auckland, let's say. So once that address has been proven, anything that comes up with Cuba Street, Auckland, can be just processed through. So we're already starting to see AI starting to come in to sanctions detection. We're already seeing companies starting to write more sophisticated models, more sophisticated scenarios to manage sanctions. This demand is set to increase. The business development opportunities, the coding opportunities, the data modeling opportunities, and all those sort of things are all coming down the pipeline. So we've got emerging opportunities, quality assurance, point solution of automation, exceptions identification, managing routine processing, and advisory for decision-making. Again, these are all areas where AI is coming into play and is being used. Now, I'm just going to move forward. Okay, let me pause there and throw back to the room. Was there anything you wanted to explore further in that quick high-level overview of things that are coming down the pipeline?
So if anyone has got any question till now, please. કોઈને કોઈ question છે અત્યાર સુધી જે session થયું એમાં?
I don't have a question related to what we have discussed, what you have shared, but I have a question that what is the way forward for all of us? In case you are not going to cover, you can share. If you're going to cover it anyway, then
Yeah.
I hold on to it.
We'll get into that.
Okay,
so let's just explore a few more bits. We've all got elections coming up. We've heard some of the horror stories coming out of the US. AI is set to play a big role within political campaigns, for better or for worse, for good and for bad. Now, images, videos, deep fakes, we're all familiar with those issues. Or is anybody not sure? It's okay to be not sure. There's a lot of knowledge out there. It's okay to miss bits. We all know that social media campaigns are going to play a critical role in upcoming elections. They've played a role in the past with the Russian bots and disinformation. AI will be used to correct. AI will be used to send out good information, and AI will be sent out to say negative things and do bad things. So if you're a politician, you need to be starting to ramp up AI within your political campaigns now. Targeting of information. AI is going to be used massively in soliciting funding. Whether it's to scam you, whether it's to get you to support the MP that you like, whether it's telling you that the MP that you dislike has stolen your money, these things are all going to be part of political campaigns. How we manage them, how we regulate them, all of those things is part of it to become. And then there's, of course, the media response and the monitoring of all of this. So if you're aspiring for office, you are a politician running now, you should be looking at AI within your political campaign, especially around the social media channels. Any comments and any aspiring politicians in the room?
No, today we don't have any politicians. He was supposed to be there, some of ministers, but could not join. Thank you.
Okay, there's 2 slides around AI within legal services in terms of using it for routine advisory. So people already search Google for legal advice rather than go seeing a lawyer. Yeah, I see a hand up. I'll come to it in 30 seconds. So as a legal service, do you want to have chatbots with AI dispensing legal advice? Do you want to put a monetary plan around it so you can ask 100 questions and pay $20? Standard documents and the other bits, regular reviews, I'll let you go through the slides. And sorry, is it Vadodara? Have I pronounced you right?
Yeah.
Vadodara, you've got your hand up. Please go ahead.
Yes, my question, yes, good morning. My question was about how we can do target custom campaigns.
Can you please repeat? Vedant, can you please repeat?
My question was how we can do target custom campaigns.
Sorry, target?
Custom campaigns.
Okay. His question is how we can do targeted customized campaigns.
Okay, that's it, at a high level. It's getting the customer data. It's knowing their habits of what they like, what they dislike, and then it's putting the models together and executing against it. So if you sell boats on a website, you will look at somebody in a particular geographic location. You'll look at their age demographic. You'll look at their sort of boating preferences, sail, power, they want to go fast, those sorts of things. Can we take that one offline and discuss it in more detail? At a high level, the existing principles that you use will apply and carry across. How you implement will vary to circumstance as well as the software used. Vadodara, is that okay with you?
Yeah, I think that was good.
Yeah,
That was perfect. Yes.
that was okay. I understood it. But can we do marketing with AI?
Sorry, I've lost you.
His question is now on marketing. How can AI help us for our marketing activities?
Okay, again, it's your products, your customers, your services, doing integrated campaigns, explaining the value proposition, aligning with their interests, controlling the amount of marketing that you send, commensurate with the response. They're responding more, you do the cross promotion. Again, it's the existing business practices that you do, you will bring across to the specific circumstance and just use the data and the algorithms within AI to do the sales and marketing. And I don't mean to evade, but I don't want to get too specific because I'm not familiar with your situation. I'd rather have a conversation offline with you in a little bit more detail. If that's okay, I'll make a note of that one. Now, with this one, keep going with the legal practices. Again, there's different areas within the legal system whereby you will be using AI. A classic one is law enforcement. They have special access to legal information. You'll use AI to help monitor that. Use it in extended data analysis. Use it in data provision. Use it in tracking the use of that data with the law enforcement agencies. Again, there's a copy of the slides at the end, and we can talk more about some of the specifics, but I just like to paint a high-level picture. Now, I want to spend a couple of minutes on this slide if we can. In education, we're all using ChatGPT. We're already having students writing essays using ChatGPT. We're already having lecturers complain about people submitting reports using ChatGPT. Now, the question in there is in three parts. One is AI is there, it needs to be used, we need to skill everybody up. What controls, process, procedures do we put in place to manage the use of ChatGPT? And if your assessment of students is so box grid that it's a tick box and ChatGPT can just go through it, there's a problem with the lecturers and the assessment and the box grid that they are using. And you as a student, why do you want to have such poor service? Now, business, we've talked about some of the applications. Now, children are already using ChatGPT to send cease and desist letters to each other and parents as pranks, but it has a more sinister side. There's fake letters coming from schools and agencies, and of course the social media pressure, and of course there's a big box of nefarious activities. Now, there is going to be a big need to manage the regulatory components around AI, privacy, security, safety, legislation. If one of the hottest jobs now is the data scientist, and one of the hottest jobs is the coder in ChatGPT, the second most popular job is going to be the lawyer following them with the lawsuit in train. Yeah. There's all the data issues around access, permission, security, quality, and those sort of things. The reason data is such an issue is rubbish in, rubbish out. You can feed valid bar pass examples into ChatGPT, get it to do it, and it can pass the bar exam. You feed ChatGPT a bunch of rubbish bar example answers and nothing else, it will not pass the bar exam. The technology we might get into, and of course the skilling, the awareness, accreditation, certification, and taking people on the journey. Now, one of the biggest challenges that we're going to face around AI is addressing the digital divide. Everybody's familiar with what I mean by the digital divide. Now, again, I don't want to go through this slide. Here's a bunch of services that are coming down the pipeline, a bunch of new opportunities that are coming down the pipeline. Now, if you are an Indian software development company like Tata and that sort of thing, you've already started to do these things. You will still need to do defects and enhancements and all the routine processing around software. But that is going to get automated with AI. The request process is going to get automated. AI is going to prioritize and all of those sort of things. So you need to be starting to make changes now. All of the support services like project management, advisory, data migrations, testing, this is going to be a massive business opportunity that comes with AI. There's all of the technology bits. Let's not worry about the coding, but data models, security models, integration between systems. Hopefully we've got 5 minutes to talk about benchmark testing in a minute. And all of the things like risk, audit, security, safety, regulatory, legal, and remediations when AI goes wrong. These are all the growing jobs and where the demand is coming. And if you look at the number of cybersecurity jobs now, it's on the exponential growth. It's going to be the same with AI. Now, let me just move forward. I want to pause, and then I'd like 2 minutes to indulge you with Facebook and then wrap up with questions. Now, there was a question a moment ago about how are we going to get it implemented. We've started to paint that picture. It's going to be a combined approach of government, industries, universities, and education. And we'll talk, hopefully we've got a little bit of time at the end to talk to that. So let me pause there. I can see there's a couple of chat questions. Vargo?
We can take up questions later because now we have only 5 to 7 minutes to close, and then we take up the questions.
Yep, perfect.
7, 8. Yeah.
I'll race through. Race through. Facebook has already had problems with its social media. It's been shown that it's got problems managing data, giving data out, unauthorized access. It's changed its algorithms to make more profit to the detriment of people. We know that already. It's been proven. This is going to be more and more of an issue, not only within social media, but within AI. Now, one of the big opportunities is benchmark testing, and there's some of the opportunities here. Not only do we have to benchmark the performance of the data, the quality, those sorts of things. We have to benchmark the performance of the algorithms so that we know they're learning the right things, they're managing the bias, and they're responding the right way, so that we're not denying mortgages to people. We're not giving out false cancer diagnosis. And so this entire area of benchmark testing with all of the services, the software development and everything is an area to go through. Let me skip the technology bits. You can look at that in your leisure. Let's wrap up. To get AI in and managed, there's going to be a whole bunch of government policy areas that need to be worked through. There's going to be need a big skilling across the universities, the trade schools, and the schools. Everybody within business will pretty much be impacted by AI. They may not have to sit there and write code, but they need to understand how AI is making suggestions for them in the software that they're using. There's going to be the leadership within business and all the areas, and there's going to be funding. There's going to be incentives, levies, tax breaks, industry transformation, and all of those things that we do today are going to be needed to be brought to AI. Now, when technology transformation becomes a national security issue, and we're talking AI, when AI is an educational priority and AI is a cornerstone of economic policy, when your politician runs on the transformation that AI is going to bring to help these people, we know that we're heading in the right direction and we've got a lot of the levers addressed. There's a slide there with some links for more information, but let me stop there. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for the conversation. In the last few minutes, across to everybody, comments, please.
Now the session is open for Q&A, questions and answers, Q&A. So if anyone has a question, please raise your hand. Sanjay Shah, yeah, please do share your
Yes,
query.
so thank you, Kate, for that really insightful, presentation. So basically, being a software company, we are using day in, day out. Now, here, the puzzle here is right now we are having hard time distinguishing between the expert, like who are real expert, and somebody who is posing as a digital expert. So for example, Canva, you can make the presentation in 5 minutes. You can write the speech. So sometimes they crack the interview as a software developer, but then we come to know he cracked through ChatGPT. So what is your advice? Like, how do we distinguish actually between the real expert and the ChatGPT based expert actually here?
Okay, I wish I had a simple one-word answer and a simple magic wand for that one. Let me change the question slightly. How do you quality assure that you're getting good people today? So if you get them in the room and say, right, I want you've got 2 hours to write some code for this problem, get them to do it. And you don't allow them access to AI tools for that session. If you're hiring a business analyst, one of their key ones is, can they actually talk business with the business people and solicit information? ChatGPT is not going to be able to fulfill that function for a long period of time. And that's just you having an assessment framework and making sure that your staff are using it and that they're applying to it. So what it is it's a matter of saying, okay, somebody wants to bypass me with ChatGPT and AI. What do I do now? And what do I need to put in place to assure the quality of delivery?
Correct.
And that sort of governance and management across the entire business carries forward. I'd like to have a longer conversation with you around that. This is one of the challenges that is very, very common.
And just a quick follow-up question on that. Actually, what I've noticed, like, as they say now, we don't need to know the answers, but we need to know the question to ask now, actually, the prompt, actually, right? The prompt engineering is what is developing now, actually. Yeah, so everything is prompt driven.
Yeah, you need to know the right questions to ask, and you need to know when they're giving you a furphy or they're talking rubbish.
Thank you.
And building up skills within your business is going to be needed for AI irrespective.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Kate.
Amardeep ji, your query, please. Yes, Amardeep.
Hi,
yes.
Good morning. Yep, I'm here.
Morning.
Actually, we have been using this AI like knowingly or unknowingly, maybe on the Facebook, maybe on the WhatsApp, or maybe some other applications. I deal with there is one department known as PESO, Petroleum and Explosive Safety Organization, and they have been using this AI for verifying the drawings. Like many times it happens that we upload good drawings, but for some reasons the internet doesn't take up the good drawing, and that is where they started using the AI. So my question comes back that only that we are feeding this AI, nobody else is feeding. We are the parents of this AI, and some or the other way I feel that it will impact up to some extent, but not that much.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I
agree with you. There's two parts to this one. At the beginning, we talked about that it's got a limited capacity and capability at the moment, and it's a long way to go before we get to fully sentient, fully autonomous. The other part is that AI should not be, here's the IT guys knowing the instructions to put into ChatGPT. Those writing code now should embed the functionality into the software for the user behind the scenes so that it is transparent. There should be a quality control aspect to it, of course, but yes, we're talking about Indian software companies building AI, whether it's for logistics, legal, doesn't matter. But it shouldn't be that it's a set of thing across the side. It should be embedded in the software seamlessly, and people across the business should know how to use that software, understand where AI is giving them, and focus the quality assurance, the skilling, and the awareness around the risk-based approach. Does that make sense?
Yep, Keith, very much.
Good. Mr. Chair, how are we going for time? I've cleared and I'm happy to take more questions, but I don't want to take over your meeting and keep everybody away from their day job.
Right. So we'll take up questions quickly. Now, Vedant Joshi, you have a question, please.
Yes, Keith, my question is about how ChatGPT is easy to use. Is it quite good for security? As I have asked ChatGPT that, do you know my location? So it replied that no. But when I asked that saloon stores near me, restaurants near me, so it gave me proper location that these are some stores near you. So is it quite good and secure to use ChatGPT?
ChatGPT uses open data. You have to assume that it's not secure. You have to assume that it's going to keep a history of everything that you do. Now, having quality of data, security of access, controlled in-house systems, controlling access with vendors and channel partners is all part of the mix that we're going to have to work our way through around ChatGPT. Bargo, do you want to add anything to that?
No, yeah, you have answered it nicely.
Okay, and the questioner is that a big thumbs up from you?
No, that was from someone else. Vedant, are you clear? Can we move on to the next question? Nimesh Bhai, he is our training coordinator. He has organized this entire training program. Yes, Nimesh Bhai.
Yeah, good morning, Kate. I have one question about the confidential some informations we are using to get improve the data or information to the ChatGPT or other AI. So if there is a risk to that information is leakage to the other competitors and they may use to against us, is there is a possibilities?
Yes. This whole issue around data access, social media, data analytics, and AI. We tend to fall into the thinking that everybody's going to do the right thing. And we know that that doesn't happen. We've talked about Facebook and what's already happened. We've talked about the politicians doing scary stuff. We've talked about the AI people actually saying AI needs to be regulated. Taking a view of a risk-based approach and allowing for checks, balances, processes and procedures, and skilling and awareness and training is a fundamental part of not only making AI successful, but taking the society on the journey that's going to be needed. In short, you're going to need to do these things. They're going to take time. They're going to cost money. And today, you just don't assume that your credit card is safe. You take active measures to protect your credit card details. You'll need that same kind of approach with AI.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you, Kit. I have one last question, but there are 4 questions in one question. What are the jobs and businesses which are getting obsolete in next 5 to 10 years? And what are the new jobs and businesses which will come up as opportunity on account because of AI?
Okay. If I had that crystal ball, I would be a miracle worker. But I'm going to just share the, go back to a slide where we talked about some of the jobs. Now, when people predict AI and jobs, they are sometimes right, and sometimes they're miles off. Yeah. Now, when we first talked about the internet, very few were predicting audit, regulatory, compliance, safety, security as the hot jobs. When data analytics was first talked about, lawyers and lawsuits was not talked about as a topic. But what do we know? We know that access to data, managing data, quality of data, managing the algorithms is a big area. We know we have to do a new generation of software built and build the AI in seamlessly. We know that all of the services around it is where the big opportunities lie. Like the gold rush, you don't pan for gold, you sell shovels to those people panning for gold. What jobs are going to become obsolete? I really don't know. In the short term, I mean, there's economic people out there that are saying it, but I wouldn't want to predict. In the short term, it's not jobs going away. It's jobs changing. So you do them more efficiently. You do them at lower cost. Instead of you spending time engineering, you spend more time managing clients. You spend more time checking the outcomes from AI. Code cutters. Code cutters have copied code into ChatGPT, taken the code out and shoved it across as their work. So if we're going to manage that, not only do we have to fix requirements, but then we need more jobs in testing. So we have less jobs in code cutting, but more jobs in testing. With all the cloud services, if you're a bank and you used to employ 300 Unix engineers, you're now down to about 10 who manage the services out of the cloud from vendors. But vendors have ramped up the number of Unix engineers that they need. So we know general trends and we can talk to them. Anybody who is predicting harder than that, I don't think they really know what they're talking about. And the classic one is Netflix. Who knew that Netflix, one of the biggest jobs was going to be the management of algorithms? Where is the next generation of regulators that can manage algorithms on a risk-based approach? If you went back 5 years, you would never have predicted that. I mean, there's probably one or two, but so sorry, I seem to be a little bit obfuscating, but there we go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now I would request PDG Prashant Bhai to please hand over the token of appreciation. Just share it on the screen and then we will arrange to courier mail.